Hi, and welcome back to the best thing you watched this week. We've got Chris from Movies and Munchies and Ruben from the Ruby Tuesday. Thank you if you are returning to listen and watch. Once again, we love chatting to you guys in the comments below, wherever you chat to us on. Once again, wherever you're listening to podcasts, we have an extra special podcast section. Once the kind of video segment's done, we talk about entertainment news, stuff we're looking forward to, and anything else that kind of grabbed our attention. We're also going to be doing a Patreon video this week, which I have a couple of ideas on, Chris, because we haven't quite discussed it yet, so we'll get to that. But I'm very much looking forward to our conversation this week because I think it's going to be an interesting one. I think it's going to be a little diverse. Do let us know in the comments below if we haven't covered any of the things you would like us to talk about. Let us know, like, what did we miss? What didn't we cover? Maybe there's a nice gem in there that we didn't do. But before we get into all of our wonderful entertainment news and the best thing we watched this week, I want to shout out Nostromo, who on Chris's channel from Movies and Munchies got both answers to the movie quiz last week. Do you know what they were, Chris?
Well, because Nostromo answered it, I do. Well, I did know Dumbledore was one of them, was one of the quotes.
Right.
But then even though it sounded familiar, it did not click, but it's Tyler Durden from Fight Club.
Nice.
So
yeah, that's very good.
That's awesome.
So, getting my actor's face on, we'll do the movie quiz now. I got two plus a bonus one today. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, just for fun. Okay. You ready?
You swallowed a fly there.
Yeah. Okay. Klaatu Vrata 2.
Wait, why does that? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. You got it? Okay.
I think so. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay. This one is an easy one for those that are like, I never get the ones that Ruben gives up. You should know this. And if you don't know this, shame on you. But also go and watch the movie.
Watch, I'm not going to get this one. It's going to be terrible.
You will get this. This is easy. It's super easy. Get away from her, you bitch. Okay. That's the second one. Okay. Yes. And this one might be a little tricky. If the only clue I'm going to give you is it's in the sci-fi realm. Okay. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, or the one. All right.
Nope.
So
off the bat,
extra bonus points if that might stump a few people. Won't stump a selection of people who'll be like, I know this word. Let us know in the comments below. But now, one of my favorite parts of the whole podcast movie is always Chris's question, because we never know what we're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates.
Well, it is close, but not chocolate. But okay, so here you go. Is there a worldwide government conspiracy afoot to make you consume more cheese due to a cheese surplus?
What?
So do you think you're being marketed to consume more cheese?
I can't say that I've seen any cheese ads because I don't generally watch TV, Chris, like with adverts.
Oh. So they're failing at that point then.
Yeah, and I don't say anything on our streaming services with those ads. The most cheesy thing that I've watched is Aussie Man's review of the yearly competition of the cheese wheels. I don't know if you've seen it down in Scotland. It's just where they hurtle these cheese rolls, and people just have to try and beat the cheese rolls down. And my goodness, there's a reason why there's a couple of ambulances and guys all down the side, because it's a very steep, muddy hill, and you have two ways to get down. You can roll or you can run, and you'll probably do both.
Ends in rolling also.
And I don't know if you've seen the videos, but my goodness, the injuries.
Did you see? Oh, well, there was a Netflix documentary, kind of reality-ish show that focused on weird
Oh, yes.
like
yes.
challenge
I
types
did
of
see
things.
that. Yeah.
And one of them, and like this is the first time, because you see that we typically see it from straight on, the hill from straight on, where the people are coming down. So you just kind of, you don't get the full scale of this. Well, they took a drone and they flew it up and then they turned it around and you see the pitch.
Angle.
And it's like, how does anybody survive that? I mean,
I honestly think I would die. I think I would roll and snap my neck. Like, that'd be it.
Well, you would have to almost be drunk doing it so that you didn't.
You roll
like, so when
gently.
you fell,
yeah,
so that your body, you're not bracing yourself for any type of thing.
Ragdoll physics.
Yes, exactly.
But you do win a giant cheese roll, like one of those big.
Well,
if you come first.
Well, in bragging rights, I mean, and even think, just the fact that you took part in that. Like, I would love to be over in the UK when this was going on, just to watch it.
To watch it for sure. I think I would cringe and cry and laugh all at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, there may not be a government conspiracy on cheese, but what is your favorite cheese? Do you have a favorite cheese?
I'm not really a cheese guy, Chris, to be honest. I like cheese, but I'm not like smelly cheese. No, you can get that out of here. I don't want your like mold on cheese. I feel food needs to be clean and not have growing things on it. So my parents love smelly cheese, and I don't get it, to be honest. I don't like eating socks. It's not fun for me.
No. Well, and we throw
like
food out of the refrigerator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But cheese that goes well when melting, like cheese and toast, or that kind of stringy cheese, the good cheese on pizza that kind of has, when you take a bite of it, just doesn't stretch for too long, but it's cheesy enough, actually has a taste that doesn't just taste like plastic. Because some of those cheeses, man, you're just like, where is the taste? They just drown it in salt.
Do you guys have American cheese over there in UK?
Probably, but it's not like we would seek it out.
It typically comes in a brick, but they're all individual sliced. It's orange, it's square, and they're kind of individually wrapped. Well, the reason I know the ones you're
talking about.
Yeah, well, like I eat it, and that's what I do a lot of grilled cheese for myself on, because that's just how I grew up. I know that like cheddar and pepper jack together are really good for a grilled cheese. But if you look at the package, it says cheese-like. It doesn't actually say it's cheese.
It's not actually cheese. It's cheese adjacent. It's near the cheese.
Near cheese, yes. Oh, goodness.
You got to worry,
if
like,
you think
what
about it
crap they put in there.
Oh, there's nothing healthy about it. No.
Cheese adjacent. Yeah. Gosh.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Oh, there you go. The stupid question, I know, but hey, whatever. That's welcome to it.
All right. Let's get into the best thing we watched.
Cool.
Should I start us off?
As we sit here.
Just silent.
All right. Who's going to go?
Dumb faces. Someone's just clicked on to watch or listen. They're like, yep, clicking off. Bye-bye.
God, please come back. Oh, goodness. Yes. No, please go ahead. What's on your list?
Well, the best thing I watched by far, I felt like I had a lot of mid. There was mid stuff this week. Not terrible, just mid. Because I did watch a lot. In fact, on Thursday, I had a day of a bunch of screeners, and I started watching them all, and I was just like, no, switching that off. That's not flicking my switch. Probably three series of something, 2 movies, and I was like, no, I'm going to the cinema. I know I've missed a couple of films. So I went and watched Lightyear, and I enjoyed it. It's not the film that I thought it was going to be. In fact, it's definitely not the film that the marketing teams have put out there. There's a little bit at the beginning of the film that says, this is the film that Andy watched as a kid, and this is that film. So, the Buzz Lightyear in the movie that he watches and gets excited about having that toy, because we see little clips of the Buzz Lightyear movie. It's not that. Like, even though they say it is, it's not that 100%, because this is a much more serious film. So I think that the marketing just they lost it. It's a much more adult film. I would equate it to, it's a live action nostalgic film from the late 90s, 80s that isn't quite as cheesy, but it's wrapped in an animation, because it's animated. It's wrapped in an animated disguise. I think a lot of kids would be disappointed and bored, quite frankly, because it takes its time. If adults went and watched this, I think they'd appreciate it. But that's actually not the film I'm talking about. So I did a double whammy. I went to watch Lightyear, and then I left the cinema and I went back in and I watched The Black Phone, knowing the director who I loved, and knowing that it's based off a short story by Joe Hill, who, in my personal opinion, I think when it comes to terrifying stuff, I think he's, in some of the stuff he writes, is out scaring his dad, Stephen King. So I'm like, because I subscribe to the series of comics that Joe Hill has written, and it's dark. Great story, but it's really dark. So I was excited to see how they've taken this short story, put it into film, got Blumhouse, and then an amazing director. But I knew nothing about the movie. I hadn't seen a trailer. I'd seen Ethan Hawke and the mask, and I thought, okay, here we go. And at the end of the day, I rated it 4.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5. And we can talk about it. I don't know if we want to talk about spoilers. I suppose we can. It's been out for a few days. We can give a warning if we do or when we do. But I have, since I released my review, I've downgraded my number to 4 because someone in the comments was pointing out all the flaws, and I couldn't not agree with him. I was like, oh, crap. Yeah, that really. However, as a unique... It's a weird mix. Nostalgic film, but also feels fresh. And there's this balance of, here's like late 70s, early 80s vibe. Then the music, I think, is like stuff that people in the 80s would listen to because it's from like the 70s. The clothes are coming into the 80s. The sets, I think it's set in 78. I thought it was 80s, but I got that wrong. It was set in 78. And it's a horror, kind of. It's more thriller with horror aspects. Yeah. And I think, again, marketing lied to people because a lot of teens in my cinema were expecting jump scares. Were expecting, like, maybe a Scream movie or a slasher film. It really isn't that. It's horrific, horrifying in the story of missing kids. But then it's Stranger Things meets The Room meets It. You know, it's that kind of... And I loved it. I loved the way it was filmed. I loved the way the story was told. I loved the camera techniques, the usage of moving into a scary moment rather than jump scaring you. Like the panning of something that comes into view. Much like when you forced me to watch one of the scariest films I've seen now, but that I still don't quite understand.
Hereditary?
What's it called? Hereditary? Yeah. When you Hereditary. When you see her in the corner, but you don't know that you've seen her already, and you go back because you have to go back. Like, did I just see that? It's that kind of thing. Also, think the kids were amazing. I thought they were great. Like, every single kid acted like they'd not written by adults. It felt like they were written by kids. Like, the dialogue was exactly how I expect them to react in that moment. Real. Young teenagers. There were a couple of things that I thought, but that's a bit convenient, or that's a bit I'm not sure that would actually happen. But other than that, it's just like this was a wild ride. I wasn't expecting that. Give me your thoughts, Chris. I've spoken for at least 5 minutes now.
No, that's great because I agree. This is on my list too. I love the aesthetics of it. I loved how we would move into like grainy footage, you know, some of it feeling like it was handheld camera or news-ish footage, something like that. That just gave you, it really helped to transport you already with the sets being that were in the late 70s, you know. Ethan Hawke, I mean, he spends most of the film with some part of a mask on, which I think is great because it forces him to really, I mean, it's his eyes and it's body movement, you know, that help convey. Now he does, his voice also, I think, really works because he's riding this line of absolutely horrifying and menacing, and then kind of your friend.
Yeah.
You know, of like this innocence, and it's like, oh, that's unsettling. That's just, it's not.
He was so good in this role.
He really was. Like I could have used more of him, but I liked what we get of him, and I really like that the story picks up in the middle.
Yes.
You know, that you
didn't have to have the origin of him. You're just in the middle of this crazy guy who is mental, and you're trying to figure out where he's come from, what he is, why is he doing this. Like, we don't get any of that. We just have to experience like a day in the life of a kidnapped kid.
Yeah, you know, and I think we get context as the film goes along a little bit into how he became this way, not fully, and I think maybe that could have done one of two things. It could have removed all of the mystery and then even the terror of why he is how he is, you know, or it could have made it more scary, but maybe not. I mean, like, you know, you think to Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. I mean, part of the terror in that is because he's just some unknown dude with, why are you doing this? What is your motive? What are you just, I mean, you just come and start killing people, you know? And so to have somebody that is motivationally obscure, I think is really good, because we're like, oh, that makes you just messed up. So I agree. The children the kid actors were phenomenal. And the moment where the sister, she has just had an interaction with her dad.
Do you want to talk spoilers now?
Yeah, let's do that. Just so I can say certain words.
Warning.
Yeah. Okay. So here's your spoiler warning. I don't know how much we'll get into spoilers, but there you go. She has just been beaten by her dad. Now, who he is, I mean, he's an alcoholic. So, but being whipped with the belt in the late 70s, totally a thing.
That's a thing. I mean, I've experienced that.
I have experienced that also. Mine was more so a wooden spoon than a belt, but I got the belt also. But her reaction after that, where she has terror and pain, and that look on her face where she's not crying because, I mean, she's crying because she's sad, but she's also afraid and she's hurt. Yeah. I mean, there's this, it's a unique emotion that like, I am almost fearful at how they got her to act that way.
Right.
Like, you know, like, I'm not sure I want to know because it was so spot on.
Yeah, it was good.
To a child.
Yeah. Like, people that have experienced that will understand that moment. Can I just say that in our cinema, there's a number of, I would say 15, 16-year-olds that had gone and they were giggling and chatting to each other. One was on their phone, blah, 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 you know, general stuff. And there's a few other people dotted around, which was annoying. That moment, deadpan silence.
Oh, good.
There was a shift in tone from that moment on in the film, but also in the cinema. And I was just like, and that's when it had them. They were like, oh, it was kind of building. This is a scary guy. There's going to be a couple of jump scares. Alcoholic dad beating the kid because, and later on you find out why. There's no justification for it, but you understand why he got there, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't want to lose his daughter in the same way he lost his wife. He's fearful, and his fear's coming out this way with alcohol mixed in. That's never a good combination. Fear and alcohol. Yeah. And yeah, so I was very glad for the tone and shift, but I was just like, that's so powerful when a film can take a bunch of distracted teens who aren't really invested into the story. They just came for a bunch of scares. And then suddenly there was a moment and just goes, boop, and people are in.
Yeah, well, and I liked that this was more of a mature horror. I mean, thriller, really. I mean, you know, there are some horrific elements to it, but really, I mean, it was that thriller, and it was really, it gets inside your head. But did you jump when, like, during it? Like, I jumped twice.
I jumped once, almost out of my chair. There was one I just wasn't expecting.
is it the first time where he's talking on the phone and the camera pans back and then it comes back?
Yeah, it was the first time.
Yeah, I'm like, and really, I mean, the clues are all there, right?
Yeah, you know something's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I jumped, and I love that that was a real jump scare.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't something jumping out at us to do that. It just caused me to jump because it was naturally in the frame.
Yeah.
And the other one, which I didn't remember seeing this in the trailer that I saw, but the sister riding down the street in the rain, and as she's looking at the houses and she turns back and all the dead boys are standing in front of her. Now,
right, yeah.
The trailer that I saw didn't have that in there to the best of my knowledge. So I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
So when it happened, I jumped there also because I was like, oh crap.
Mine was I didn't jump, but I was like, whoa. Was the body floating in the air upside down? I was like, no.
Yeah, that was. I have one question because it nagged at me while the movie was going on, and I can't remember. Did the police know that the grabber was using a black van?
I'm not sure.
The kids did.
The kids definitely did, and I feel like they questioned the daughter about the man in the mask with the balloons, and I'm not sure if she said anything about the van, but I imagine that would have been in there.
How would they know? I mean, if it's amongst the lore of the kids, right? Of all the kids in the school. I mean, this is not like an isolated little thing where only a couple kids are talking. I mean, they're all talking about it, How do the police not know that even the mention, whether it's true or not, that a black van is mentioned? Because it's not like Ethan Hawke hid his black van. I mean, he drove around town.
No, they really are the worst police ever. Like, they're terrible at their jobs.
That was the one thing that did, like, it stood out to me as...
He's driving around during the day as well in a black van around kids. I would have police patrolling in the roads. Surely they would have picked up his van.
Yeah, I just thought there was one of those things that nagged at me that was like, I think this might be a big weakness in the story that they're just not going to address. You know what I mean? Like, so I still had fun with it and it didn't ruin that for me. But I think when I go back, when I remove myself and have that breathing time, this is one of those things that really begins to stand out to me. Like,
well,
especially
for me,
when.
Okay. I was going to say, for me, there's this thing that reminded me of a Shia LaBeouf movie where, like, in Signs, there's all these things that add up to helping them survive. So in Shia LaBeouf, in Signs, it's the water, it's the baseball bat, it's the last things the mother said. In this movie, it's digging the hole, it's the bars. Now, the thing I didn't believe was pushing the cable through the bottom of the carpet, making it come up and curl naturally around. Now, I know some, because we've all played with rope in that type of rope as well, that cable, and it can curl around. But the amount to get it up in the bottom through that carpet, I was just like, I don't buy it. And that took me out of it.
Yeah,
because you have to make it believable.
Make him fumble with it several times, right? Like, because he was jumping
just give
up.
me an extra scene.
That's it. Yeah, just let me, because I know when I'm trying to feed something through the wall or something like that, it gets caught on something and then it curls on itself.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So if it's going up carpet, which
that really bugged me because it's like, that would happen. I'd just be like, I'm dead.
It just. Oh, I don't know. But on the whole, I mean, it was
so fun.
It was well built. And that scene with him, the two scenes with Ethan Hawke, either shirtless or shirt open, sitting there in the kitchen holding the belt, just kind of asleep, but barely, that is terrifying.
I think the scariest part for me in the film was where I forget the kid's name, but he'd managed to get to the door with the combination lock, and the camera keeps turning round. Well, it changes direction so that we see the front and Ethan's back, the side of him, and you keep waiting for Ethan Hawke to move or to suddenly not be there. And it was so tense. I was like, I was really surprised it didn't end. It didn't grab the boy and like pull him back. He actually escaped, and he had to get down. But I 100% believed that he was going to get caught in that moment. Just building.
Well, and I think, and how much more terrifying does it become because he does escape?
Yeah,
you know what
exactly.
I mean. Like, I think that was a really good choice in the story because I was expecting him to get caught too. Like he turns back around and it was going to turn back, and then there's Ethan Hawke standing right next to him.
You've been a very naughty boy.
Just. Oh goodness. Yeah. No, this was. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, there's this really nice, I think it was pulling from things that are popular at the moment in the nostalgic zeitgeist. So like the daughter's powers manifest in like her dreams and her visions, and you see her in the bath where she's trying to use her power, and it just reminded me of like 11 in water from Stranger Things. Like there's connections that my brain was immediately pulling. Can you imagine it with black balloons and that sort of mask and that power? I was like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's been a while since had a good thriller like this. One that really because I enjoyed Scream for what it was. I think it had problems with it, definitely.
Yeah.
But
no, this was better for sure. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Now, but again, like you said, not a slasher. This is not.
This is a builder. Builds. Yeah.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I loved the battle. That even though it's short, but the battle between Ethan Hawke's his character and Finney at the end. Where they're struggling back and forth, and just because I don't think you
as well.
Yeah, you want him to do that, but I don't know if I expected Finney to do that. Like as he's holding on, like because more often than not, we have these movies with young kids or even young teenagers where they take things almost. But not enough, which then leaves it. And I think that's the story setting up to allow a sequel, because then maybe somebody can escape.
Yeah, I kind of wish he had, to be honest, because I want more of Ethan Hawke in that character. I thought it would have been great, but I don't see it happening now.
You could do a prequel.
You could do a prequel, but
I'm not. How would it be different?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The kid doesn't escape.
Now I kind of. Yeah. Well, we have several examples of that beforehand, which that we don't see. I don't know. I like this being just that it has a finality to it with there, because I think it gives a good outcome, a resolution to it, but it's freaked us out the entire way up until that point. So, and the trauma has not ended.
No.
That's lifelong right there.
There's a really nice kind of resolution to the boy now being able to fend for himself, realizing who he is, how strong he actually is. I don't for a second believe that the sister will ever get beaten again like that, because I think the boy will just put a stop to it. Like, he knows what he's capable of. But then there's also the broken dad realizing what he's done and asking for forgiveness. It was a nice moment. Just him kind of kneeling, holding his kids, crying. I thought it was good.
Yeah. I wished, though, that he would have also apologized with the same vehemence or like concern to the girl that he did, because it felt to me more like he was talking to the boy. He was addressing both of them, but he hugs Finney first, which is natural if your kid has been missing. But then when you're apologizing like that, it seems like I'm going to grab you both at the exact same time and hug you with the same. I don't know. That
it did feel to me that he is a what do you call that? Something's the result of his environment and his culture. So very Christian, very kind of anything outside of God is like evil. And then you add his wife, who had a few episodes, then I just thought, that he is the result of those things happening to him.
Yep.
You could just you could watch it from afar and just see it being shaped into that way. Not that it's right, but I was just like, I totally see how he got to that.
Yes.
Pretty interesting to see if they ever do a sequel. Let us know in the comments what other thrillers that are coming out we should be looking forward to. I personally am looking forward to Nope.
Yes.
Because Jordan Peele, apart from the trailer I saw, which looks great, Jordan Peele said he wrote and created this film at a time when he was worried about the future of cinema. So he wanted a spectacle. So it's a spectacle thriller, which I don't think we get a little bit of that in Us and he's the other one, Get Out.
Get Out.
But this feels bigger and grander and just stranger. And I'm looking forward to all the memes of the Nope.
Yeah. Well, which have you seen the long trailer, the final trailer, or have you just seen the first one?
I don't know. I saw a new one, I think, in the cinema recently, where it gave some story as to them being horse ranches and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. No? I've stayed away. Yeah, I've only seen the very first one where it opens up with her talking about how, did you know the very first motion picture was a series of photographs of a black man on a horse?
Oh, yeah. No, that's the one I saw, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it doesn't really give much context for what's going on because I do like a 3-minute trailer had been released as the final trailer. And I'm like,
really? Yeah, no, I don't want to watch that.
I don't want that. I'm staying away. I don't want because I don't know what's going on. Yeah. I'm in the dark to what this could be. I have my suspicions, but I don't want them confirmed. I just want to go in and watch it and experience that spectacle.
Exactly.
So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Cool. Yeah.
So what's in your list?
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not done with this series yet. I have a couple more episodes, but it is a very short series. Excuse me, as my coffee comes up there. It's the Netflix Rowan Atkinson comedy skit type of show called Man vs. Bee. Now, it's 9 episodes, with each of the episodes being like 10 to 12 minutes-ish, something like that.
Yeah, they're not
so
long at all. Yeah.
No, it's not. And it's very Mr. Bean-ish, where he's in ridiculous scenarios. We laughed out loud a lot. I mean, we were sitting there
Did you?
And just
okay.
Yeah, that was just, and I think it was because also, like, you have a group of us. So it was my wife and I and my oldest son and his wife were sitting around just watching this, and I think laughter builds. When if one person finds something, but it was just the slapstick, the ridiculousness of this. There are times where you're like, oh God. Oh goodness, stop. It's utterly predictable. Everything that's going to happen as it goes along because it's not. I think
that's always the thing though with his kind of things. You can see it coming. You don't want him to do it, but he does it anyway.
He's going to.
Yeah.
Yeah. He at first I was kind of questioning, like, okay, so we have 9 episodes that are each, let's say 10 minutes. So that's 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And most of these, like where they end, where an episode ends, the next one picks right back up there. And I was thinking to myself, well, why wouldn't you just make a 90-minute movie out of this and call it good? But I think because by the end of episode 6, while I'm laughing a lot and I want to see more, it began to get a little tired. That it was, so I think maybe it was done on purpose this way so that you could take a break and then come back to it and not feel like you've missed anything, like that you've taken, you know what I mean? If you stop a movie halfway through and then come back in a day or so, you feel kind of like, at least I do, where it's like, oh gosh, what was going on? Or I've missed something. But if it's a series, I don't feel necessarily as much. Now, it still may take me a second to catch up, but there's something in my brain. It's psychologically, maybe it's just me too. I'm willing to accept that. but so the absurd humor in this I thought was really funny. It's every scenario just gets piled on. It's juvenile humor too, which this is not. There's nothing sophisticated about the slapstick that's going on, and that's okay. I don't say that as a negative. It's just more of a, this is just matter of fact. You know what I mean? This is not thinking comedy. This is just watching Rowan Atkinson do something that he is excellent at. You know, his facial expressions, his non-verbal but audible expressions are pretty, they're always, you know, and they match. I mean, he's done a really good job at just like, you know, doing something and it really conveying so much within that. And then making these uncomfortable situations, because the premise is the dude, this guy who has been out of work, you get the sense that he's, and I don't want to call him a loser, but he gets distracted on stuff, and which makes him lose jobs. So he's not able to hold down a job. He's divorced, trying to turn his life around so that he can spend more time with his teenage daughter. But he gets a job as a house sitter, as a professional house sitter, which I didn't even know that was a thing. Maybe it is over in the UK.
Oh, that's a thing. Yeah.
Is it really? Yeah.
That's the most stressful job you can ever have.
I 100% guarantee. I wouldn't want people like that I don't know stressful just in my house, and I don't care if they're licensed, bonded, insured, the whole thing. I don't want, and I don't think, not that they're going to.
You don't want other people pooping in your toilet.
I don't want other people going through my house, my stuff. I mean, I'm not
totally
there.
Going to go through all your stuff. Yeah.
And I could trust them to not steal anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's still the fact that you've gone through my stuff. That's the. Anyway, I just don't trust people like that. But. And he's tormented by this sadistic bee who just wants to follow him around and stay inside this house. And so he ends up just destroying almost everything within the house, at least where I'm at. And he hasn't, in the very first episode, we get a glimpse of what is to come, and not all of that has arrived yet. Like it was just a nice break. And I think some of it was because a lot of the stuff that I had seen on Netflix or on streaming this week was just a disappointment to me. And so I needed kind of a win, you know, and this one provided a lighthearted, easy win. It wasn't, like I said, there's nothing highbrow about this. There's nothing sophisticated. It's just a man doing stupid slapstick humor for 10 minutes at a go. And it made me laugh. And so that's what my brain and my body needed at that moment, and it provided.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, that's what it's about at the end of the day. If you enjoyed it, and I can imagine if you're with family members on the couch and one person finds something funny, and so you kind of giggle, and the next person laughs, and it builds on that. I totally get it. I didn't enjoy it.
Well, how come? What?
So I felt like it didn't know whether it wanted to be serious or it wanted to be a comedy. And I think the part of the reason was for that is you have this man that can't hold down a job. And from what I understood was he probably has a diagnosis that needs to be diagnosed of ADHD or obsessive compulsive behavior. That's how I understood that. So he gets so obsessed with something, he's just got to keep doing that thing until it's dealt with. So in this case, it's the bee. And that its turn can be funny if it's just comedy. But then we have this continuous daughter relationship that he's got to go, he's trying to get to the holiday with her. It's the thing that they've not been able to do. There's a conversation with the wife going, please don't let your daughter down. You already know he's divorced. He's lost his marriage. He's come down so far down the line that the only job he can get is house sitting. And so you really want him to get a win. So I'm for the family. Like, I want them to get together. I want him to spend time with his daughter. Then I just see this dude that's allowing himself to be obsessed with this bee, and the more he tracks down the bee, the more you know that he's just going to ruin his life because he's destroying things that are worth probably millions, because the house that he's house sitting is like the top 1% of the 1% people, right? However, that being said, I can see where Rowan Atkinson has taken bits from like his ability from Blackadder and Mr. Bean, and you take those two together and you kind of get the character that he's created here. For me, the best moments comes to when he's actually interacting with people rather than the bee. So the cop that we see a couple of times that he gets to interview, I thought those bits were hilarious. Like, I was laughing my head off because, you know, the second time he's in a fur coat. I think he's got like shit all over his face. There's suits from the fireplace, and he's trying to act normal, and I think the first time there's the bee in his pants, and so he's doing that physical slapstick acting that he's so good at. That those moments for me, and that's why I love Mr. Bean and Blackadder, because when he's acting against people, they're normal, he is not.
Oh yeah.
And so, as much as I like the slapstick physical nature of kind of the building, you can see it coming. I was just thinking, dude, you're hurting your family. You're never going to be able to see. And the repercussions of what happens. Once you've watched the last couple of episodes, I'll be interested to see what you think. Because for me, there feels like he hasn't learned anything. Which is what you wanted. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, I was just like, had it gone this way right at the end, and he gets to be with the family and gets to be the daughter, and he knows that he needs some help, cool. But there's a moment you're like, oh, don't do it. And he does do it. And you're like, come on. Saying that, I was also in the meh mood because I'd watched so much content that was just meh. And that can, like, if you start off at that zone, you just, and for me, it wasn't hitting those right marks. And also, sometimes Ruben takes things too seriously. And this is not a series that you need to take seriously. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, and I get what you're saying, because, yeah, I do feel like I think the drama was there so that it could try and maybe balance out or make the comedy hit more. But I do see how it is a little bit of a strange combination in this presentation. You know, to have something that is so slapstick and so ridiculous, to then insert this storyline that is very dramatic and very emotional within a movie, even within a regular series, that works, right? I mean, we want that because we actually need.
You would have more time with the family. You need a reason to care because it's a story then. But these are just essentially skits. In each episode. Yeah. Yeah. And so I was like, well, why are you doing that? Just if you're going to do Mr. Bean, like even in the Mr. Bean, I care about the Mr. Bean character, but each skit is different and hilarious. And you're just like, why are you driving that 3-wheeled car? To this day, every time I see a blind man, I think of Mr. Bean, because there's a bit on the beach where he's trying to get changed in his swimming costume, his Speedo, and he thinks the guy is watching him, but the guy is blind the whole time. And yeah, there are moments of just like, oh, the pain. Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever seen Blackadder?
Not in its entirety. No, I think I've seen like just a couple of episodes. But
quintessential British humor, along with like Absolutely Fabulous and things like that. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. No, I like, because it's period, right? Because that's the one where he's the
it's old. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to go back and like dedicate time to watch it. So no.
Nice. Not sponsored by Dr. Pepper, by the way.
Well, I don't know. It's like 3 weeks in a row that you've been having Dr. Pepper. So,
and it's zero, so there's no sugar. Tastes fine though. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like mine full sugar.
Did you just go
Yeah. Well, I have a thing where the on anything diet or where they put no sugar in it, they put sucralose or some of those types of those OS things in there.
Yeah, no, we don't have that here. We have different rules, Chris. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because I'm not allergic to it. Like I don't die, but I have a physical reaction where I can taste the chemical or whatever that is, and it makes me want to throw up. It's so weird. So when people hand me, like in a restaurant, and you get just a cup of something, and if they've given me diet when I never asked for diet, I can instantly know that it's diet. I need this regular one, please.
Yeah.
Yep.
That makes sense.
So, okay. Dr. Pepper, if you're listening, or if you know somebody, if you're watching and you know somebody that works at Dr. Pepper, we would like to be sponsored.
We'd happily
totally. We
be
would not turn that down. Yes,
Dr.
absolutely.
What is the worst that could happen? You could sponsor us.
Yeah.
The Umbrella Academy Season 3. I was so surprised at how good this was, because how many series do you know that can actually knock out a good Season 3 as good as like the original, the first? How many? Like, I could probably count that on my hands how many are actually as good as like what once it started.
That's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, it really is. And I liked Season 2, but I did feel like it lost its way a bit. It spent a lot of time in character growth, and then wrapped up the story or not very quickly. So it left us with our team thinking they've just saved the world, except they've ended up in a reality that's theirs, but also things are different. So there's the sparrows now that are them, but better, well trained. They got the suits to match, like the X-Men. They have a leader who is Ben, who in their reality Ben died, and that kind of broke them, really. That's why they're so dysfunctional. That was the turning point. At the same time, their arrival sparks, let's say, an entity that could end the universe. And so we have the two families that are headbutting. We have the storyline of this entity that's going to destroy universes, and then we have the wider arc of who is Dad, actually, what's been his plan the whole time, because we get little bits of information. There was one bit at the end of the series which my jaw dropped, and I was like, what is he? I think it was like Season 2 at some point, and they were like, oh, that's weird. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. And so they had a lot of spinning plates because there's a lot going on.
Sure.
And I think some people's negativity towards the series would be that there isn't a lot of backstory for the new characters. There's some, but not a lot, for the sparrows. But there's a special way that they integrate the new characters, and so the Umbrella Academy, the sparrows, becoming one team, basically, because they got to put their differences aside to defeat the big bad. To stop the thing from happening, from destroying all realities. It's interesting to me. This feels like another multiverse storyline.
Okay.
And it's also one that I feel is still better than Wonder, because Wonder dropped on. I say Wonder. See, that's how bad the film is. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I recently watched that with Kirsten because it dropped on Disney. She hadn't seen it, and she was like, where's the madness? She said, there was no madness in that. I was like, yeah, no. And also no multiverse. There's like, we hopped a bit, and then we're fighting on Earth and one other planet, and that was it. Yeah. So anyway, I've digressed. I was moaning about that again. Okay. Because I really liked Doctor Strange, but I understood the issues, but having watched it the second time, I'm like, oh no. Anyway, so this deals with multiverse. The special effects are great, but what makes this season stand out, apart from the really interesting story, which I loved, well, once again, the characters. And I think this time, because we've had 2 seasons of our broken characters working on each other, this time it's all about how they come together to help them work on the new family, or figure out what's going on. So really, we just get to see them play with who they are now, and we get to see the Umbrellas, without going into specific characters, their personalities change a lot in this because of things that happen in the story. And it's interesting to see a character go from being one type of personality trait to being almost the opposite of themselves, because they've so far gone and the universe is ending, that kind of thing. They're just going to embrace this side of their personality. And it was very interesting to see that. We also have who at the beginning of season 1 was Ellen Page, but is now Elliot Page. And the way they integrated that was really nicely done. It was honoring.
Good.
And fit the story, and everybody just embraced it, and it didn't play out like a big thing. It just kind of happened, and there it was, and it was cool. And I was like, yeah,
Good.
that's the way to do it. And it took me a few seconds to, even in my mind, to adjust to, now that is this person's name. And I thought that they did it really well. I thought I should mention it because it was a fairly big thing to have to adjust your character. That's one thing. While that goes on in the real world, it's a thing. And I thought they did it.
Yeah.
They handled it really well. I
Nice.
love this season. I didn't feel the 10 episodes because it's fairly long now. For 6 to 8 is kind of standard, and even 8 is long. We're kind of used to the Netflix standard of 6. These are like 10 almost hour-long episodes, and I loved everyone. There is heart. There's good story. There's new characters. There's special effects that are done right. And then it leaves open for a storyline that you're really looking forward to, because it's not the last season. There's another one coming, already greenlit.
Really? Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this one was one of those that had been canceled.
I thought
and so
so
they
too.
were wrapping it up.
Nope.
Okay.
I think they filmed a lot already. So, yeah, really looking forward to where this is going. Very interesting season.
Nice.
It builds for the next series, but also does its own thing and completes the story. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. Is there, because I haven't watched it yet, is there a musical number?
There is.
Where, like, okay,
Nope,
is it as good? I don't want any details other than, is it as good or on par with season 1's?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Just
Okay.
Let's just say that there's 2 families now, right? So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Because I will go back sometimes and just watch
that
the
bit.
clip.
Yeah, it's great.
Of that. Yeah, because also the song is just wonderful as well. So it all works together. But okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's also really weird. They embrace the weird again. I mean, it's always been weird.
You sure?
Yeah, but yeah, they really embrace it. It's great. I had a lot of fun with this. It was good.
Nice. Okay. Well, good. Yeah, I am gonna watch it at some point. It just hasn't been once Netflix
Not
said,
priority.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's okay. I'll watch it casually and enjoy it then. So that's good. I'm glad that you had fun
Yeah,
with it.
I think once you start, you'll be like, man, I want to know what happens.
Cool. Good. Okay. So I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks. Actually, when I saw Vikram in the theaters, where I was the only person seeing it, they played one trailer, and it was for this movie called Television.
I remember you mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it looked like it was going to be a social commentary, probably a little bit of comedy in there. It looked like it was dancing and stuff. Well, up until like Wednesday of this past week, when this podcast was released, like it wasn't announced that it was playing in any theaters near me, and I was really bummed. Well, on Thursday afternoon, I looked again, and sure enough, it was playing on Friday. It was playing at 10:40 at night. That was the only time it was, each night from Friday on, it was going to play at 10:40 p.m. So I was like, oh, that's rough. But I went, and my oldest son came with me. And again, we were the only 2 people in the theater. Now, this one doesn't surprise me as much because you've been getting a lot of suggestions on Indian content to watch, right? I mean, just a plethora of suggestions. Yeah. So have I. Okay. This is one that 0 people have recommended to me. Nobody has recommended it.
And Chris goes, I got to choose that one.
Yeah. Well, because the trailer spoke to me. Like, I love social commentaries. I love these quieter, these weirder indie movie type things. And, like, I had no idea what this was really going to be about, other than I thought it was going to be, where a town or a village gets a TV and how that disrupts their lives. And it kind of is that. So this is a Punjabi film, and it is called Television. And so let me talk about all the things that don't work in this film first. Okay.
Okay.
The production value of it is less than awesome. The filming quality itself looks very TV, but not great TV, just TV, you know.
Like soap TV?
More vibrant than soap, but yes, close. It's
Okay.
like that. It is not cinematic by any means. There are a couple of musical numbers in there where it is very clear that the artists or the actors are not singing in that moment. Now, maybe they are the ones who sang it in the soundtrack, but during the movie, they are lip syncing. Because you can tell when somebody is like belting out a note because they're having, I mean, they're, you know, especially when a note is high or something like that, or it's powerful. I mean, you can't just go like that. I mean, you've got to, there's breath that comes behind that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Halfway through the movie, the audio went out of sync. Like,
what?
Like bad out of sync.
Really?
Like, I'm kidding. Like, you would watch this, it would be like, and so then I was there. And you're like, what? Now,
That's crazy.
luckily, I was reading the subtitles, so I wasn't as focused on the mouths.
Right.
You know what I mean? As they're doing it, but it was still noticeable.
You're not selling me on the film, Chris.
I know. About before the final act, the audio resynced itself, which was weird, and so then it's all on there. I have not laughed out loud so much during the movie and consistently. This movie, so it's a rom-com.
Yeah.
It is a social commentary.
Yeah.
And it is your comedy of errors, but the dialogue is witty. It is smart. It is it borders on absurd at points, which makes it even more funny.
So before you carry on, is the comedy culture specific, or is it because you're laughing? Are you laughing because it's funny? Or are you laughing because it's? Do you know what I mean? So if there's some comedy like the Indian movies or Punjabi movies that can be funny, but you don't know that it's funny.
Oh yeah, no. This was. I mean, the dialogue is very humorous. I mean, because it translates across. I mean, it's some of it's situational. And some of it though is visual comedy as well. Like there's a dude who is the wheat grinder of the village. Okay. And he looks like he's kind of drunk the whole time. I don't think he actually is. I think he's more of he's just a quirky guy. But he then at one point has to wear a disguise. There is context for it, and so you have this weird grinder dude taking on a different persona for different people. And it was very funny to watch and his words and everything. And, a lot of it is just because it is the situations that happen. It is very predictable. Now you see what's coming, but I wanted it to happen. That was the thing. Like I see, see this because these characters are scheming something and they're setting it up and you're like, well, gosh, it's going to happen here. And then this is going to happen. I want it to, because I know where it's going. And I think it's going to be really funny based on, just how much I'm enjoying these characters. It's very different than some of the other movies that we have seen recently. And that's because it just comes from a different region of India.
Yeah. And
so it is, the musical numbers there's 2 or 3 of them. They're very different. There's no slow-mo in there. There's not really any action either. So it's,
but it's unusual.
It's kind of a period piece where it takes place in like 1980 or somewhere around there. So I don't think a lot of people are going to like this, unfortunately, and I think even less are going to go see it. But I was shocked by it, really. I mean, I went in not I was expecting a bit of a social commentary, and it's 2-pronged. That one is talking about just television's influence, and then another is focused on our perception of people, and people's value. And it's not preachy; it doesn't hit you over the head with it, and yet the points that are brought up are very hard hitting. I mean, it's great. Like, it's like, ooh, wow, that's thought provoking, right there, to have this. That you have, like, there are some parts of it. Let me say, it's under 2 hours, which is also different.
Also odd,
right?
Yeah.
Yes. I did feel the time a little bit, and I think that's because we have sequences within here that are kind of like asides, where you have like people talking amongst themselves. They're talking kind of about what's going on, so it's almost like if there was a voiceover or something that was happening, except it's not voiceover. You're just watching people do this. But I don't think those were all necessary. That they weren't providing really any additional context for what's going on. It was just more talk about what was going on. So if you were to cut out those pieces, and I think that's where they drug the most.
Yeah.
You just get rid of those and then you move on. But it is.
No one has reviewed this yet on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's got a high score on IMDb at 8.3, which is not bad. Yeah, it does have a... When is this? Is it 70s?
Like 1980, I think. At least that's what the trailer said. They don't really... It's very nondescript, actually. But you get the sense that that it's not modern time, but it's not also in the 50s.
Well, the guy on the TV is like a handheld turning the buttons of the TV.
Yeah, the TV is from the 60s. I mean, it is like a 60s television. It's grainy and everything else. But from my American brain, that fits in, because if this is the 80s and they're just getting TVs, getting, especially in this village,
kind of slow to trickle out there. This is what they've got, and
exactly. You know what I mean? So that dichotomy there, or that misaligning of time, didn't bother me, because I wouldn't expect them to have a color TV. That reminds me. Okay, so obviously they're not really watching this TV. I mean, it's done in post-production, right? I mean, there are several times where the camera then zooms in, or that it shows what's on the screen as the majority of what's on our screen. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So we can really focus in on what's happening on the TV that these villagers are watching. Well, because this was added in post-production, it's from a computer screen. You see the mouse cursor on the screen.
That's so bad. I'm so embarrassed for them.
It's not in just one scene either. No. It's in several of them. Now, it's not moving. It's just there. So it was just funny. I mean, and it didn't... I mean, that was one more thing that was almost like endearing, because it was like, whatever. I don't even care. I mean, this is a negative if you are going from a very critical eye within there, which is fine. You can do that. You know what I mean? Like, that's not as polished. I mean, there are... from a very
get over the how does that get to post-production without you seeing that?
Well, because you know why? Because it's a black and white grainy image with a white little arrow cursor.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? So you're right though. Somebody should have caught that.
They really should have. That's your job. Yeah.
But overall, though, no, you know what? This was a lot of fun. It was one of those that was just, again, it was refreshing. My son and I walked out kind of giddy, kind of just like lighter.
That's great.
You know?
Yeah.
Because obviously we didn't know what to expect going in. I mean, other than we had seen the trailer. I showed it to him just to see if he wanted to go with me. And he's like, sure. Okay, I'll go. But to laugh so much in there, to have just a really good time with it, despite all the flaws. Yeah. That was the other thing that it, and that's where like my score of it is actually pretty high, despite all of these flaws, because the feeling, the emotion that comes from it, the way that the movie actually just affected me, that has to be taken into account. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a perfect movie by any means, but I had a blast watching it, and I think it's a wholesome movie that has a good message within it, and translates well through, well, at least across cultures, because you do not have to be Indian or from this village, or even a village in, I think, the Punjabi region is.
You see, this is the complaint I have with so many movies and TVs, and people down in the comments go, "Have you read the books? Have you read the novel?" Like, no, it's an entertainment movie, regardless of its culture, of what's come previously. This is what they're giving me. If this doesn't come across to me as what it's sold as, then you've missed the mark. So you are watching a film that is Punjabi, different culture, different language, subtitles, but you're still having a blast and laughing your head off and coming out feeling lighter. Now that is a testament to the creativity and the directors and the creators, really.
Yeah, it is one. I'm curious if you ever get the opportunity to see it, just what you think of it.
I definitely want to. I definitely want to. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll watch it again because I just had fun.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, it's great. Can I move on?
Yes.
Is there more you want to say?
No, I'm good. I raved about television, so yes.
Yes, you did, yeah. Okay, before I move on to my third, kind of an honorable mention, I haven't seen this movie. I've seen the trailer for this movie, and as we're talking about world cinema, there is a new film, and you can check the trailer out yourself, called Shamshera. So Sham and Shira. It's a father's legacies, a son's destiny. The legend of Shamshera is here. It releases on the 22nd of July, so it's not too far away. But man, it's one of those epics, from slavery to huge dance numbers to the cinematography to the budget that looks crazy, huge mountains of people on horseback. It's just everything I want in a big blockbuster, but the action and the story actually looks really fun. It's set. Can you? Yeah, I don't know how to even explain when it's set. It's old, but it's like, what year is this? I think it's going to be pretty nondescript. But if you look at the architecture and what people are wearing, you can tell kind of when it's set. But man, I'm loving the cinematography in this. There's different hues of color saturation that they use, like with lighting between the blues and the reds. That just like, man, reminds me of Mad Max sort of. I want to watch it. I want to watch it now. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Let me know in the comments below. Are you going to go and watch this? Have you heard of this? Do you know anything more about this? Tell us about Shamshera. Is this going to be good? Because
is it two words?
It's one word.
One together.
Shamshera.
Okay, I was spelling it incorrectly. That's part of my problem. Ooh, okay. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna look this up.
Looks really fun. Yeah, look it up.
Nice.
Okay. For my final, or my third one. Yeah, I'm going to talk about Alchemy of Souls. It's a new Netflix original series that I think has 20 episodes. There's 2 episodes that drops on the weekend. One on Saturday, one on a Sunday. And we're getting one each until the 20th episodes, although Netflix can't decide how many episodes they actually are, because in the description it says 30, but in the release date it says 20. So maybe there's more coming. Each episode is over an hour long. So there's a lot to invest in here. So like, when you start something like this, you were like, do I actually want to start something that's going to spend so many hours? Is it any good? And I'm here to say, if you like drama like this, how do I explain this? Okay. Do you remember those old school martial art films, like with Jackie Chan, like Drunken Master, where it spends probably half an hour, 40 minutes of Jackie Chan going, "Please teach me. I want to be a student," and the master going, "No, no, 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 no. I'm not going to do that. No, I don't. You're rubbish. We have that, but in a weird way, because the Alchemy of Souls is set in a world where there are mages everywhere. Magic is just part of life, but only if you're born with the ability. And some are taught with it. So there's a lot of high-flying work in this series, but there's also a lot of CG that they use, like with magical balls and things that they can do with this magic. But the story is what hooked me from the beginning, where there's some dark magics that are banned for a reason. It's very kind of Star Wars in its storyline, like a Dark Lord and the Sith always to the R, that kind of storyline. But here we have the Master being I guess she's a rebel. She's seriously powerful. She has a reason she's doing something, like not trying to not do spoilers on this one is tough. But then there's this other guy that's part of the Emperor's family. He has had his magics blocked, but he wants to be a wizard. He wants to be a real boy. You're a wizard, Harry. And so we have these two unlikely characters join up with each other. One becomes master, one becomes the apprentice. And it's their relationship that forms that keeps you kind of coming back. There's a lot of kind of bickering and bantering between their master. It's not a very unusual master-apprentice relationship. And then you get the fighting and the costume design that is always great in these type of series, but it's mixed in with magics, which I really enjoyed. It's really different. So it feels like it's got a big budget. It opens really well. And I was like, how's this sort of budget for a long series? They don't normally get a decent budget, but it's big enough for really awesome sets, but then also to do decent CG. Not brilliant, but decent. And then you have people that are actors that I'm sure are probably like very popular in the culture, but I have no clue who they are. But
Sure. Yeah.
I think they're doing a fantastic job. This is the reason why I still have my Netflix subscription, because for all the nonsense that Netflix puts on their platform, like all the crappy stuff that they put on there, there's just nobody really watching. They just want to like bulk it out. I like Stranger Things, I like Umbrella Academy, I like your original stuff for the most part before you cancel them. But then you get like K-dramas up the wazoo, and every now and again you find a K-drama or a Japanese new series or a Chinese new series that is really different but quite unique and actually good. And I think this is one of them. I'm excited for us to finish today because another episode has dropped, so I'm going to go watch that when we're finished. Hurry up, Chris.
Let's end. Go. Come on. Shut up. Stop talking.
Come on. Really fun.
How many episodes are out now?
There's only 2. It's really new.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, as bad as it is for us from a reviewing standpoint, from an event type of thing, that's kind of cool that they do 2 per weekend, so that you can, I'm going to watch this one and then I'm going to watch this one. And I guess depending on, now, do they come out, do they hit like midnight or like it was at like for your time?
It's 2 p.m. UK time. So.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, you could almost stay up late wherever you're at and watch it, or just in the middle of the day. And watch one and then watch the next one. I like that. But that's cool. Yeah. I will. 30 episodes, if that's true, that sounds daunting. That's
a massive story.
It is. And the thing is that it makes it really difficult to... well, at least for me, I think maybe I am from my watching habits, which are I understand are much different than most people's. But it becomes like, yeah. do I have the stamina to? I'm halfway through.
But that's why I like series. Individual episodes.
Sure. So that you can wait a few weeks and then watch some of them and then go. I mean, yeah, I guess though, if you get really behind, like there was this Turkish series that was think it was Turkish, that was recommended to me. And the first season was like 98
I remember
episodes.
you saying,
I'm sorry. I'm not going to watch that.
That's way too daunting for me. Yeah. Yeah, I can't do that.
Well, and especially because there were 3 seasons, and like the second season had over 100 episodes. It's like I can't. No, I can't. No. I'm sure it's good. I wish that I had known about this at the very beginning and was watching it. I mean, it's like a soap opera. Like if I wanted to catch up on Days of Our Lives, but I needed to start at the very beginning, you know, I'm going back 30 years or whatever.
Anyway. That. Also, don't.
Well, no, I wouldn't anyway. But this sounds really fun, though. I mean, the wire work mixed with the martial arts and the magic. I mean, the whole it just sounds like it sounds very entertaining. And are the special effects pretty good? Did you?
Yeah, they're not bad.
Okay.
I mean, this should be an example of why you should watch it. My wife doesn't like this type of series normally at all. And she sat next to me and watched both the episodes. She was hooked. She was in it.
Okay.
She's not like a martial arts fan. She doesn't like period piece generally or subtitles. And this had all of that. And she was like, "Yeah, that was really good." So,
well, and a testament to the storytelling then also that the content itself is actually good enough and wanting to, you know, engaging enough like that. Well, that's cool. Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
So do you have anything else?
Not that's on the best thing, but we talked about it in our comments back and forth to each other on our videos, and I thought maybe we should at least address it a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, we'll address it, yeah.
Yeah, the man from Toronto.
Yes.
You were kinder to it than I was.
I was, yeah.
You know, I think...
Other people were not. I think you were fairly kind as well, compared to some of the other reviews I've seen, Chris. Even Austin Burke, like, he was like, no, worst thing ever.
No, not having it. Oh. See, and that's funny, because I, like, while I was watching it, I wasn't being as harsh in my mind, but I think then after, like, I was, like, my internal dialogue was, I think I was too kind on Spiderhead. Like, I don't think I was critical enough with my
That's so funny. I was not kind to Spiderhead at all. Yeah.
Like, I just, you know, 2 weeks in a row, I was disappointed. I mean, Kevin Hart was funny at times. You know, I mean, he made me laugh sometimes, and I think he's a funny guy.
Okay, so here was what I thought when I seen your review, and I was like, Chris doesn't like American stuff. Is this not just Chris's brain? He's like, this is not British. I'm so saturated. I'm so done with the American content. I don't like it. This isn't funny. Because for me, on the outside, I'm like, Kevin Hart was brilliant. He was funny. And Woody Harrelson is genius. And I love their partnership.
You know me so well. That's so
You're so
funny.
jaded.
Yeah, no, that part didn't come into play, but it probably should have. Yeah, no, well, see, and that's the thing too, that I like, for a bit of it, I enjoyed Kevin Hart in this. I think that it became forced. I think Woody Harrelson was kind of, like, he was just what I've seen from him before. Too. That was the other thing, that both of them, like, they weren't blowing my skirt up by any means. It was just kind of there. I do like the standout thing for me. Well, my kilt, it blew my kilt up. The action scene towards the end, that immersive, that may, you know, cut to look like it was a continuous take.
Yeah,
that was fun. That was and It made me think back to that Chris Hemsworth movie Extraction, which the movie itself was just, but it had that action scene where it was like, ooh.
Yeah, I thought all the action scenes in that were really good, actually.
Yeah. So I didn't care. You know, the villains, what? You want to blow up an embassy? Why? Who? I don't even know who you are.
I agree with all of that. I think when I reviewed it, I said, I know critics are going to put their critics' brain on, and as they go into this, they're going to dissect it. And, yeah, but it doesn't do this and doesn't do that. And I went in, this is a Friday night popcorn action movie that you don't want to think about too hard. You've had a tough week. You just want to watch a silly movie with some decent acting with guys that have a kind of good on-screen presence together. And that's what I got from it. If you think about like the Chandelier episode where Kevin Hart is like falling from, I thought that was a great action sequence. It was really well done. The crazy guy that just seems to be a ninja, and you're like, damn, can Woody, can he take him? How good is he? Because you don't really know much about him.
Oh, the man from Miami, right? Who just kind of appears.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah. I see. The thing that pulled me out of that whole sequence was the CGI that they were using for the characters jumping down from level to level.
I didn't notice any of that. I'm like, when I heard you say, I didn't notice any bad CG.
Oh, I was hurt by it. Like
Were you really?
It assaulted my senses. Yeah, because it was just it. If you've got the dude spinning up on something, then just put your characters on wires and have them do this, or put your stuntmen on wires and have them do this, and make it look legit. Versus
shut my ass.
I'm not denying that there weren't some funny moments in there. I just for me, there wasn't enough action for me. There were two scenes, really. There was the one with the chandelier, and then there was the end one. And the end one, I agree, was awesome. I had a lot of fun with that.
What about the airplane scene? That was great.
Oh, see, that didn't even stand out to me. Yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was.
So, which do you prefer, the hitman's bodyguard or the man from Toronto?
Oh, the hitman's bodyguard, hands down, every day, 3 times on Sunday, dude. I think that's worse. I think the CG in that is bad. The filmmaking is terrible. Yeah. Oh no! See, I love that one, and I love the storytelling. The acting in that one, I felt so much better. Like the comedy worked. I'm not nearly as much of a fan of. Oh, see, I didn't like the sequel. That's
hilarious.
So there you go. Yeah, I don't know. No,
I can't believe we disagree on some movies, Chris. It's terrible.
Oh my gosh, friendship over. What the heck? No, I still laugh at Hitman's Bodyguard where Ryan Reynolds is like, well, at least we have that car, and then it blows up, and then you have Samuel L. Jackson just get that unhinged laugh that he shouldn't be laughing because he's just
right.
As
he
screwed.
Definitely has much more of a personality than Woody in that.
Yeah.
They also had a bigger budget, that's for sure.
Well, totally. I don't know.
You just can't.
Anyway, okay. I was not feeling it, even for an action movie. Like if I'm going to go for a no, wait, let me back. Somebody in my comments was like, why are y'all complaining? It's a free movie. And I didn't respond, but in my head, it was like, no, it was not free because it cost me 2 hours of my life that
it's
I
2 hours of your
cannot
life,
get back.
and you're paying subscription fees from Netflix. It's not free. And electricity and Wi-Fi. I could argue against that all day long.
Sure. I mean, my biggest thing though is time. Like that's the one thing that I can't get back. I'll make more money. I don't care about the electricity bill until I get the bill. You know what I mean? And then I'll make more money after that. Cause jobs, but my time, that's gone.
You can't
it's
give me back
never
my time.
coming back. Yeah. I could have been watching something else during that time, and so anyway, no. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I'm glad that you had fun with it for what it was. Okay. Moving on. Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Anything else? My rant is over on that, but.
No, like I said, lots of meh this week.
Yeah.
So there is stuff I could point out. I think for Patreon, we could dissect and go into the complete Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, yes.
Have you watched the last episode?
I did watch the last episode. Yeah. It was fun. All right. Why don't we do that? There's your teaser.
It might be worth. Yeah. There's a teaser. We're going to talk about that.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, we thank you so much for watching, for tuning in. Please let us know in the comments what is the best thing you watched this week. Don't forget about Ruben's quote quiz at the beginning. We got 3 of them. One of them was definitely a hard one. I don't know what that one was at all. But hey, we'll give you a shout out if you can get them all, with the bonus one also, or whatever. Just answer to the best of your ability. Tweet at us also at Best We Watched. We talked about how we're going to be discussing Obi-Wan Kenobi, the whole series, in our Patreon. You can find out more about the Patreon opportunity at patreon.com/thebeardedones. We would love to see you over there as well. There is going to be more to this podcast in an audio form. So it is linked down below in the description, but every time we do a full audio broadcast, and you can pick that up wherever you happen to listen to podcasts. And when you're listening there, we would appreciate it if you rate and review us, because that does help us out and helps this get seen even more. But we're going to be talking about some entertainment news, some of the things that we're looking forward to in the coming week, and probably just some general nonsense as well. So also, you know what? I can't believe I didn't say it. Like, share, subscribe. Ruben with the Ruben with the Ruby Tuesday. I don't know what's going on there. We're just going to kind of not, whatever. You're not. I'm Chris with Movies and Munchies. We truly appreciate you watching and for hanging out with us. And we'll see you next week. Take care.